Hey guys, the Melon Man here, and today I want to talk to you about losing weight. Okay, I want you to understand something here, and what I think you need you to understand is that weight gain is not natural. It's not normal, right? Uh, it's only happening because we've got some poor habits that have developed in our life that's causing this to happen, right? So losing weight and keeping it off for good is really a change of habit and behavior. And it's a restoring of what is natural and normal inside of the body. The body is starting to gain weight because it's becoming toxic, right? And the toxicity inside of your body is what's causing you to gain weight. And in order to reverse this for good, what we really need to do is detoxify the body. So my first lesson in losing weight and keeping it off for good is understanding that your weight gain is just a symptom indicating to you that something's not right and you need to make a change. It's like the early warning system for most people. Most of the time, people will gain weight first, and then what happens next is, pain, sleep problems, frustration, anger, moods, circumstances and situations, anxiety or depression, and then going further, coming into disease, sickness, illness, and disease starting to set into the body. So weight gain is an early warning system that your body is shifting towards unhealthiness, right? And if we want to lose this weight and keep it off for good, we need to make a change in the way we think about our weight gain. We need to understand that weight gain is just a symptom of something greater. And it could have other symptoms like pain or anxiety or depression or sleep issues or mood problems or frustration or unhappiness. These could all be associated with your weight gain, and it's the same thing. And the solution is not that I just need to exercise and change my nutrition. That is not the solution. The solution is definitely includes exercise and nutrition, but it's not only exercise and nutrition. It's something greater than that. Losing the weight and keeping it off for good, healing the pain, healing the sickness, the illness, the disease, fixing your relationship, and stepping into your very best is all the same thing. And what it really is and what it really requires is detoxification. And that's what we're going to be talking about today, the detoxification process. It's what you really need to know, what you really need to understand to lose your weight and keep it off for good. All right, guys. So let's begin our discussion of the detoxification process. And like I've already sketched out for you, it's really a change of mindset more than anything else. Definitely, we're starting to exercise because that's an aspect of it. Definitely, we need to change our food. But this is what the mainstream population kind of understands about weight loss. That weight loss is a change of exercise and food. And you'll see countless people every single fall, every single winter, get into an exercise program where they're changing their food and they're changing their exercise.
And maybe they're making progress for a while, but then they're getting to a stagnant point and then not able to break through that. And that's because they're continuing to interact with their world in the exact same way. If you think that this is only exercise and nutrition, you will be limited. You will find your limit if you do not allow yourself to grow a little bit here. Okay? It's more than that. It has to get into the way that you think and your emotional space. And yes, this even is going to challenge you spiritually. If you want to lose the weight for good forever and never gain weight again, if you want to overcome your pain, if you want to overcome sickness, illness, or disease, right, you've got to go beyond exercise and nutrition. Exercise and nutrition are huge aspects of this, but this is mental, this is emotional, and this is spiritual change as well too. You have created your life as I have created mine. It's my thoughts, my words, my habits and behaviors that are creating the circumstances that I have in my life. If I want to make changes in my life, I've got to look at the big picture. I've got to look at those habits, those behaviors, those thoughts, those emotions, and my spiritual understanding as well too. Okay? Detoxification is a change of mind more than anything, but it's learning how to love yourself. That's what it is. It's coming to the realization of truly loving the self. Okay, so it's a new paradigm of health. Okay, it's a different thought process. Okay, it's a thought process now that health is not something that I get from my food. Health is not just eating healthy food. It's not just vitamins and minerals and protein requirements and fat requirements and fiber requirements and water. That is not what health is. Health is not only exercising. Okay? Health is more than that. Health is getting into the sunlight. Health is getting our feet on the ground, on the planet Earth. Health is something that's actually already inside of us. Okay? We have to come back to our health. We need to remove the thoughts and ideas, the incorrect thoughts and ideas that are blocking us from our health. We need to remove the trauma, the low frequency and low vibration emotions. We need to remove the chemicals, the drugs, the medications, thinking that health is outside of ourselves, thinking that we need to go to a doctor to get our health, thinking that we need to take a medication, a pill, a potion, a product in order to find our health. This is not the truth. Health is inside. We are unhealthy or finding ourselves shifting towards disease, overweight, unhealthiness, because we are thinking incorrectly, that we are putting toxic elements into our body. Chemicals, drugs, medications are causing an inflammatory response within our body. And that inflammatory response is causing sickness, illness, disease, overweightness, body fat is collecting in our body to hold onto toxins that we are putting into our body with our poor choice of foods, with our poor choice of fluids, with our poor choice of substance. We've gotten parasites, we've gotten fungus, we've developed yeast and candida in our bodies, and this is why we're unhealthy. Okay? We've got to remove these obstructions that are actually blocking us from our health. Our health is within us, and it's taken a back seat because we've got some incorrect ideas, some faulty programming. We've been caught by the matrix. It's that society has kind of got us caught in a paradigm of thought that's incorrect. So we need to kind of break down the incorrect thoughts and ideas and realize the truth that if we just click our heels together, that we can find health within us, that we can learn how to love ourselves, that we can change the identity of ourselves, that we've come to believe that we are our egos, that we've come to believe that we are our thoughts. It's this misconception about ourselves that's got us trapped in the matrix, that has us trapped in unhealthiness. Look, we've got tons of medications, we've got tons of doctors, and we've got tons of nutrition information, but we're getting fatter and sicker. We've got to face the truth. Disease is on the rise. Cancer, obesity, heart disease, diabetes, arthritis, all disease, anxiety, depression, all of it is on the rise. Even though there's more information about health, there's more information about nutrition, there's more information about exercise, but people are getting fatter and sicker. Why is it? It's because our paradigm or our understanding or what we've been taught about health, about nutrition, about exercise is wrong. It's that we've got to change our minds or change our paradigm of who and what we really are and where our health and wellness needs to be found. It needs to be found inside, and this is a change of mind. So today we're talking about the detoxification process. Now, the detoxification process, I've already mentioned and sketched out to you. It's a body, it's a mind, it's an emotional, and it's a spiritual change. Now, for me, it started about 5 years ago when I started getting into the information of Dr. Brian Clement. And that started because I was just finding my body was filled with pain. Okay? My body weight was creeping up. My body fat was creeping up. And my pain in my body was also on the rise. Physical pain in my body. Emotional pain. And that I just wasn't finding I was as happy and as playful as I used to be. I was having chronic athlete's foot. I was having sleep issues. I tried the medications. I tried the digestive medications. I tried the sleep medications. I tried the doctor recommended medications for my athlete's foot. And I found that I just couldn't cure these symptoms in my body. That medications wasn't a solution. That no matter what I was told by my doctor, that I wasn't able to fix, these chronic problems with my health. So someone led me into Dr. Brian Clement and his healing process and program, that he had a healing center down in Florida. And I started to do my research into Brian Clement and his healing methods and his healing process. And I recognized that he was talking about alkalizing the body, shifting the body from an alkaline state, from an acid state to its more natural alkaline state. So I started to understand pH balance, and I started to understand that, you know, there's a range within the body, and that there's a pH scale, and that on one end of the scale is 0, and on the other end of the scale is 14, and that in the middle is 7, and that in the middle, that's where we have distilled water, and that the cell existed in a more alkaline body, and that's where the cell was most optimally operating. 7.3, 7.4, just to the right of the midline or distilled water. That this was the optimal space for the cell, and that everything in the body worked healthy and happy if I kept my body in that 7.3 to 7.4. I started to learn about choosing foods that would alkalize my body. So it was a shift in mindset for me from the teaching that I learned in kinesiology. You know, my background was kinesiology and psychology. I studied the sciences at university. I learned about caloric balance, proteins and carbs and fats, and managing my calories. And I take all of my customers through this process so that they can understand the traditional teachings about nutrition and how they are actually off. They don't really work. They don't really fit. And after, 20-something years of understanding that, practicing it on myself, practicing it on hundreds and hundreds of clients over 20-something years, I started to realize that this was just not working and was just not correct. And I was manifesting incorrectness or unhealthiness or disease beginning in my body. Pain, digestive issues, sleep issues, mood issues, and insomnia, and athlete's foot, physical pain in my body. Although I was following the calorie in, calorie out sort of protein recommended, vitamin, mineral, get your essential fat oils, get everything you need from outside of yourself to be healthy, I was not healthy and I was not happy. And I began to explore these alternative ideas. And I found the alkalinization process, and I started to understand the protein diet, the keto diet, these protein ideas were creating uric acid buildup in my body and making my body acidic. If you've ever had gout, if you've ever had pain in your body on the foot of your body, and the tendon on the foot of your body, if you've noticed aches and pains starting to creep up in your body, mysteriously appearing and disappearing, and you think it's related to lifting something or doing something, it's probably more related to your food than you realize. And it's probably related more to toxic buildup inside of your body than you realize. It can manifest in your skin. Blemishes, pimples, boils, or, rashes, blemishes on your skin, pain in your body, sleeplessness, anxiety, depression. It can manifest itself in a multitude of ways in different people. It can show up as sickness and illness. Your immune system can become compromised. Sleep can begin to break down. Digestive issues, like I've said, this can show up in your life as pneumonia. It can show up in your life as cancer. It can show up in your life as diabetes. It can show up in your life as arthritis. All systems in the body can be affected, and everybody's body to be affected in a different way. So it can show up in one person as weight gain. It can show up in another person as anxiety or depression. And this is the thing, why it's so confusing. You know, as I've done my research into this process over the last 3 to 5 years, I've come to understand more and more and more that true health is within us. And we can all come back to our true health. Now, 3 years ago, I stumbled upon the information of Dr. Arnold Ehret. And I realized that natural healing is very possible, that we can lose the weight, we can overcome any sickness, any disease, and it's all the same thing. That really there's only one infliction that comes upon the body. And what I learned from Dr. Ehret and the mucusless diet, and now I teach this to all of my customers, and I always include contact to Dr. Ehret's work. And I realized from Dr. Ehret's work in the early 1900s, he wrote his book in 1909, and he had a healing center that he set up in Europe. He set up a healing center in the US, and he healed thousands of people of all sickness, illnesses, and disease. Weight loss is just one symptom that can be cured. And it's from studying the doctors Ehret, Dr. Sebi, Dr. Morris, and Professor Hilton Hotima that I've come to realize over the last 3 to 5 years that healing and weight loss and pain relief and anxiety and depression and sleep issues and candida and yeast and parasites are all the same thing. That everything that's happening to the human, the problems with our relationships, the problems with our finances, the problems with all things in our life can be changed, can be healed, and it can all be changed in the same way. And that there's one infliction that's at the root of all of this. So people reach out to me, first of all, because they want to lose weight, because they want to tone up. But my promise is that by moving through the detoxification process, you're going to get a whole lot more than just weight loss. You're going to see a lot of other additional changes in your life. Moving on from here, okay? I think what has to happen in order for us to begin to change our minds and understand that this weight loss that we want to have in our life is much bigger than just calories in and calories out. And I think, again, just looking at the population and seeing that everyone's gaining weight, seeing that cancer's on the rise and diseases on the rise, we can't deny it. You're lying to yourself if you think that all of the information that we're getting and understanding is the truth. It's not true, and that's the problem. The information that we've got, and the understanding that we have is backwards, and it's that way because our overweightness, our sickness, illness, disease, pain is profiting someone. That the medical community, that the Food and Drug Association, that medications, the hospital system, the whole way that society is built upon profit. And this is what makes the world go round. And as long as we're living in a money-focused society where we're all trying to make a buck, where we're all trying to make a profit. We're all investing money in this public trade, and we all want to see a profit on the money that we invest. So we're all a part of it. I'm not blaming anyone, but as long as we continue to live in a society that depends on consumerism, this is the way that our society is going to be. And the mainstream information is never going to give you the whole truth. Because as long as the entire mainstream continues to consume and look for the solution outside of the self, going to the doctor, getting a medication, looking for happiness and joy by shopping and buying, looking for happiness and joy by buying a bottle of wine, drinking a coffee, or going to a fast food restaurant or eating out. As long as we keep looking for our health and happiness by vitamins and minerals, shopping, buying, getting something from outside of the self, that is going to profit somebody, and it's going to keep the whole wheel turning. And that's what basically society depends on, all of us kind of staying in the dark. And detoxification is in direct opposition of that. It's coming to realize that joy and happiness and health and love is within. And that we actually don't need to get vitamins and minerals and proteins and fats and all of this stuff from outside of the self. That what we've learned about what's right and wrong and what's good and bad is actually flawed. And as we wake up to the truth and energy and power that's within us, that we're going to be actually separating ourselves a little bit from society, that coming to truly love yourself, to coming to your very best version of yourself, is going to ostracize you from society. It's going to make you become a little bit of the black sheep, because you're going to have to go against the grain and against what you've kind of come to understand as the truth. Now, here is a picture of a cell. Right? Now, if you look at the structures, you'll see that there's the mitochondria and the nucleus, the DNA is in there. You got the lyosomes, the ribosomes, the cytoplasm, all these aspects of the cell. You've got the cellular membrane, which is made up of proteins and fats. All of the structures of the cell are basically made of proteins and fats. The DNA, the mitochondria, the nucleus, all aspects of the cell are really made up of proteins and fats. This is the most physical aspect of us. The proteins and fats, the most dense physical aspect of us. Okay? We can't deny that we are physical beings. But we've got to recognize that we are more than just a collection of cells. You know, quite simply, if you look at someone that's just died, think of the last funeral you were at where there was an open casket and you were looking at the body. The cellular structure is still there, but the being has left. The mind, the thoughts, the spirit, the energy of the body has left. And science doesn't really account for that. Science doesn't talk about the mind, doesn't really talk about the spirit, doesn't really talk about the emotional bit of you. And you are more than just a collection of 100 trillion cells or 50 trillion cells or 500 trillion cells. Depending on which resource you check, you'll see that you are some trillion or multiple trillion cells. But there's more to you than just protein and fat. There's a mental, emotional, and spiritual bit. And that entire bit of you is more you than just this physical structure. Now, School teaches us that we're supposed to eat our proteins and eat our fats, our essential amino acids and our essential fat oils, omega-3 and 6 and 9, and get our vitamins and get our minerals to restore this structure. Cells are dying every single day, and cells need to be rebuilt. And if we don't have these materials, we won't be able to build the cell. Or so the story goes. Or so we've been told. This is the thing. This is the broken paradigm. It goes way back to grade 2 when we were taught we needed to have proteins and fats. We've got to get this meat protein, and we've got to get, these grains, and we've got to get these vitamins, and we've got to get these minerals to restore and rebuild these cells. This is what we were told. This is the paradigm of understanding that we have. Calories in, calories out. That's what we're told. That's the broken paradigm. That's all a part of it. This paradigm of brokenness goes way bigger than that. As you move through the detoxification process, you'll begin to understand that it's just way bigger than that. If you look at the cellular structure, it seems like we need to eat protein and fat. That's the keto diet. That's the trend. That's the mainstream teaching. That's what the doctors will tell you to do. Watch your sugars. Stay away from carbohydrates and stay away from fruits. Eat vegetables, proteins, and fats. That's what we're told. But we're getting fatter and sicker. Okay? It's not working, and we've got to recognize that. Our health is not working, and we need to see that. Something is wrong. Okay? We need to change our paradigm. Okay? Now, we've got to use logic to get out of this situation. When I read Dr. Ehret's book, the light came on for me. I was already understanding the alkalization process. I was already understanding that the healthy cell is alkaline, and habits and behaviors that we've picked up along the way, alcohol and coffee and processed foods and cooked foods and vitamins and minerals and getting health from outside of the self, has created an acid inside of the body, and acid waste inside of the body. And this is what we need to correct in order to come back to our true health, right? I understand that our body doesn't actually build cells from taking a bit of protein here, taking a bit of fat there, taking a bit of this there, taking a bit of that there, and then slowly building a cell. That's not how the body builds cells. If you really use logic, you start to recognize that the cells divide. And they divide from a daughter cell and from a mother cell into 2 daughter cells. This cellular mitosis. That's in grade 10 science we learned about that. The cell doesn't build itself by collecting a protein, collecting a fat, and building a cell. It's not from getting a vitamin, getting a mineral from eating foods that the body builds cells. That's not how the body builds cells. That's an incorrect, broken paradigm. If you use logic, you can really begin to think that, when mom and dad came together to make love, that we're the product of that. We are the love. We are love. Right? That's what we are. Right? Beings of love. Not just beings of cellular tissue. Right? Now, when mom and dad came together and the semen fertilized the egg, one semen, one sperm fertilized the egg and created one healthy, complete cell, because we had 23 chromosomes inside of the sperm and 23 chromosomes inside of the egg of the mother. When they came together to create 46 chromosomes, that was the first cell, your first complete cell. Mom and dad's energy, loving energy, coming together to create one cell. And then you divided and divided and divided inside the fallopian tubes, inside the womb, and you divided and you divided and you divided and you divided at first without even getting any food. So use logic. Your cells were dividing and growing and multiplying without food in the womb before the umbilical cord was formed. How were you getting nourishment? Right? If you start to use logic, you start to understand that what we've been told or what we think about how the body grows and develops is not really the truth. It doesn't really make sense. Our body doesn't really take proteins and create these cellular structures, these cellular membranes and these ribosomes and liposomes and the nucleus and the DNA. It's not a bunch of materials that needs to come in order for the body to build that. Use logic. Think about it for a second. A cow, for instance, a cow doesn't eat meat. So how does a cow develop healthy cells? How does an orangutan or a chimpanzee build healthy cells if they're not eating protein, right? Our closest relatives are primates. We're not omnivores. We've been told we were omnivores, that we need to eat meat. We've been told that. Now, I'm not telling you you need to stop eating meat. I'm just telling you that what we've been told is not exactly true. And if you start to use logic, you start to recognize that what we think and what we've been taught in school is not actually the truth. And that's what's at the root of our unhealthiness and disease. It's incorrect thoughts. It's incorrect ideas. It's a misconnection to the true you. Truly, we are love. We're not just a collection of cells. We are an energy, a vibration, a frequency. Okay? We've got to learn to think outside of the box. We've got to use our logical mind rather than what we've always learned, what we've always thought, and what we've always known. Okay? None of what we've always thought and done is going to get us to a different place. We've got to get some new ideas inside of our head. We've got to challenge the ideas that we currently have if we want to get something new and different inside of our lives. So what I'm suggesting here is that we need to change our mind more than anything else. That healing the body is going to be a change of mind, body, and spirit. That healing the body in life is something that's actually inside of you. Health is inside of you. That health, vitality, that love is what you truly are at your root, and that you've just misassociated yourself with your thoughts. That you've been taught that the thinking mind is of greater value, that the doctor knows best for you, that society knows best for you, that your parents know best for you, that your coaches, that your teachers, that somebody outside of you knows best for you, and you've lost confidence in your own self. You've lost the ability to believe in your own self and think for yourself. You're trapped inside the matrix. You're trapped in thought. You're trapped in believing this protein myth that you need to get protein. You're trapped in this idea that you need to get a certain amount of protein at every single meal. You're trapped in this belief that you need these vitamins and these minerals to be healthy. You're trapped in this idea that fruit is bad for you because it's got sugar in it. You're trapped in this idea that sugar is bad for you. I'm not saying sugar is good, but I'm telling you that fruit sugar is different. Fructose is a different type of sugar. It's not just like sucrose and maltose and lactose and galactose and polysaccharides and disaccharides and starches. It's not like that. Fructose is different. That the acids inside of fruit are important for your health. It wasn't until I read The Mucusless Diet, which I encourage you all to look at. It was written in 1908 by Dr. Arnold Ehret, and he healed thousands of people of all sicknesses, of all illnesses, of all disease by fruit and fasting. And he talks about the importance of fruit sugar, the healing value of fruit, the acids that are needed to cleanse the lymphatic system and get the mucoid plaque moving again. It's that the body's trapped. The cells are trapped in their waste, trapped in hardened mucus. Dr. Ehret was the one that taught me that there's really only one infliction upon the body. It's mucus. Mucus is what's at the root of all of human problems. Overweight, pain in your body, sickness, illness, disease, cancer, diabetes, all of it is an inflammatory response to mucus that's inside of your body. You're getting mucus because of the chemicals, because of the processed foods, because of the incorrect foods, because of the incorrect habits, because of the incorrect behaviors, because of the incorrect thoughts, because we're trapped inside the matrix. Fruit and fasting can heal the body. It's the natural healing paradigm for the body. If we look at our closest relatives, the primate, the silverback, which is so much stronger and bigger than us and gets bigger and stronger than us without protein, living on a fruit and vegetable, fruit and plant diet, plant-based nutrition, healthy, raw, high energetic foods, high vibration, high frequency foods. That's what's going to heal the body. The highest frequency foods are the fruits. It's the fruits and the fruit sugars and the fruit acids that the body needs to get the lymphatic system moving again, to clear the mucus, to clear the mucoid plaque, the hardened plaque that the cells are sitting in. It's fasting that the body needs. It's emptiness. It's when the body becomes still, in the stillness, in the quiet, in the meditation. This is when the body heals. This is when we can use our mind to choose a different outcome. This is when we can move beyond mind and step into the spirit space. This is when we can get into contact with the love, with the highest frequency, with the highest vibration, with the highest bits of ourself. We are more than just 100 trillion cells. We are more than just physical material. We are not just a body. We are not just mind. We are not just emotion. That we are spiritual beings having a physical experience. And that at our root, at our highest vibration, at our highest frequency, we are spirit. We are love. We are light. Right? And this is the truth that's not taught by science, that's not taught in school. Okay? This is what's missing. Fasting helps us come back to the truth. Because when we fast, the body is given a rest. When we stop eating for an extended period of time, the body doesn't need to create hydrochloric acid. Okay, hydrochloric acid is a powerful acid that's necessary to digest the heavy, dense foods, protein and fat. The most dense foods, the most physical foods, the lowest frequency, lowest vibration foods are the proteins and fats. They're most dense, they're most physical, They are our structure. Those dense foods require hydrochloric acid in order to digest them. So in order for us to digest proteins, we need to create hydrochloric acid. Well, that's work for the body. Fasting gives our body a rest from that work. Eliminating proteins and fats, or reducing them even, reduces that extra work on the body. Now the body doesn't have to create insulin if the body's empty. Now the body doesn't have to create enzymes. Now the body doesn't have to create bile. Now the body doesn't have to create mucus in the lymphatic system, in the small intestine and the large intestine to allow foods to move through. Enzymes don't need to be created. There's a lot less work going on in the body. The kidneys and the liver don't have to work. The stomach doesn't have to digest. You take all of that work, 50% of the work of the body is in digestion. If you start fasting now, fruit, high vibration, high frequency food which contains enzymes and doesn't require hydrochloric acid, which contains all of the amino acids, the building blocks of protein. The fruits contain them all. Fruits digest really quickly and move through the body real quick. Fruits contain fructose, which doesn't require insulin. So you're reducing the processes and the needs and the work of the body by choosing foods that digest really, really quickly, that are less dense, that move through quickly, that don't require insulin. And then if I add fasting, now the body's in total rest. That gives us more energy. If we divert energy from production of bile and insulin and digestion and mucus and hydrochloric acid, if we divert energy from the creation of insulin inside the pancreas to the work in the inside the kidneys and work inside of the liver, if we divert that energy now to other processes in the body, now the body can begin to heal itself. Now aches and pains can start to be addressed. Now thoughts and emotions can start to heal. Now we can start to transmute, lift up energy, transform energy, because that's the magic of humanness. The magic of being a human is actually the magic of transmutation. It's the energy of bringing up our low frequency and low vibration thoughts and energy and emotions, our traumas, the things that are holding us back in our life, bringing them up and elevating them up. We are a pile of energy centers. The human has different energy centers, chakras, they call it in the East. Detoxification is bringing the East and the West together. Extended fasting is fasting for beyond 3 days. Okay, Dr. Arnold Ehret in the mucusless diet talked about intermittent fasting, short-term fasts, 14, 16 hours, 24 hours, 36, 72 hours, 48 hours, 72 hours, 1, 2, 3 day fasts, short-term fasts and refeeding, specifically refeeding with fruits and vegetables, live foods, high energetic foods. Fasting and re-energizing the body with high energy foods. The fasting is where the body is allowed to heal, where the healing, loving energy is allowed to rise up because it's not interfered with or blocked with by heavy digestive processes that are taxing on the body. Okay? So it's fruit and fasting is at the root of the healing process. It's the root of the weight loss process. It's the root of the healing of all sickness, illness, disease, and pain. It's the root of healing anxiety and depression and sleep issues. It's the root of getting rid of parasites and fungus and candida and yeast and changing all of your mood issues. It's connecting. It's shifting you in the right direction. So it's the fruits and vegetables. It's the live foods, okay? It's the high frequency foods, okay? Dr. Morse, got me to understand about the electromagnetic energy of food, right? That some foods have higher energy than others. It's electromagnetic energy. It was Dr. Morse that helped me to realize that I'm an electromagnetic being, that I am a being that's got current in me, that I feel, that I move. In order for me to move my body, that my nervous system has to send a signal from my brain out to my arm in order for me to create a movement. In order for that to happen, my cells got to send a signal. How does that signal send? It's by electrical impulse through my nervous system. That movement happens. In order for me to feel something, to touch something, in order for me to touch or feel an emotion, it's my nervous system that has to send that signal back to the brain for me to interpret it. I'm an electromagnetic being. There's electricity in me. The only way that I can move or do something or feel something or think something or send or convey a message is through electrical impulse. Therefore, I am electrical. And I am physical or magnetic, right? The poles of the earth have magnetic poles to them. I have a physical magnetic pole to me. There's a current inside of me. I am electrical. And the foods that I choose have to reflect that. I'm a combination of the physical, tangible material of earth, the minerals of the earth, and the light of the sun. The electrical current, the light of the sun, and the physical mineral of the plant, of the earth, the physical and the light. I'm a merger of that. Light, love, that's what I am. A material, physical expression of light and love. And the highest vibration foods, the foods that are alive, carry life, carry current. When the food is cooked, I cook the life force out of it. I kill the food. Now, if I continue to eat dead, low-life foods, then I'm bringing my life force energy down. If I want to begin to bring my life force energy back up, I need to lift it up with exercise, with live food, energetic food, with energetic thought and word, and with an energetic, vibrant, open-minded thought about spirit and the oneness of our universe. Okay? As I learned about the detoxification process, about alkalinity and acidity, that there was a pH scale and that distilled water was right at the center, is when I realized, when I understood that science uses distilled water as the midpoint of the pH scale. That's when I realized that distilled water is what we need. Distilled water is what detoxifies the body. It's distilled water that's in fruits and vegetables. It's distilled water that's actually inside of our own self. It's distilled waters that heals ourselves. It's only distilled waters that heals the body. It's only distilled waters that are natural. That when the water is heated by the light of the sun, it evaporates. It cools in the air and then falls down. That's distilled water. It falls down on the ground and it gets polluted by the air, by the smog in the air, by the smog from the cars, from the smog from the commercial industry, the air pollution. Then it falls and it gets caught into earth pollution because we put pesticides and herbicides on our gardens and our grasses. The farmers put pesticides and herbicides on the fields. So the water falls into the earth and gets polluted and falls into, and then gets into, gets into the water system, the sewer system. It gets collected there and gets brought back to the water treatment plant where it gets cleaned. And the way we clean it is with chemicals and drugs, right? We put chlorine and fluoride in the water, and that's the tap water. Now that water may be absent of bacteria, and that's what we consider clean. But clean is not absent of bacteria. In fact, our bodies need bacteria. When you get sick and you go to the doctor, they give you an antibiotic, which kills the bacteria. Bacteria is not wrong. Our immune system functions on bacteria. We need clean water, not water that has fluoride and chlorine in it. We need distilled water. That is what cleans the body. Distilled waters clean the body. Structured waters clean the body. Okay? When a being, something created by Mother Earth, by Father God, by the All, by creation, a being, a plant, a tree, a flower, a fruit tree, a vegetable, a human, an animal, a being. Beings that are created by God are alkaline. Beings that are created by God, created by creation, by the All. When they're created, they structure water. Fruits have distilled water in them. They pull water, distilled water, out of the soil. With the light of the sun coming down on their leaves, they create fruit. From the light of the sun, they create fruit. And the fruit contains distilled water, but it's not only distilled water, it's structured water. It's distilled and structured. When we drink water, it comes inside of us. When we pee, when it comes out, it's distilled water, and it's structured water. The human being, animals create distilled water, drink distilled water, need distilled water, and create structured waters. It's distilled, structured water that heals and cures and fixes the body. We get distilled waters from fruits. We get distilled waters from vegetables. It's when we eat fruits and vegetables that we detoxify the body. Live foods detoxify the body. Distilled waters detoxify the body. Structured waters detoxify the body. Now, nobody's going to be perfect. Okay? Nobody's going to be perfect. But we need to move towards more fruits and vegetables, more live foods, more high energy foods, more distilled waters, more structured waters in our life. And the more that we can do this, the more that we can move towards distilled waters in our life, the faster our detoxification process is going to be, and the faster we're going to return to our most happy and healthy selves. Okay? As I moved through the detoxification process over the last 3 years, 3 years ago I read the Mucusless Diet by Dr. Arnold Ehret. 5 years ago I started into the detoxification process lightly with the work of Brian Clement. But Dr. Ehret really got me started deeply into detoxification 3 years ago. And growing further, I learned from Dr. Morris, who's been in the field of healing, natural healing, for 40 years and has healed all things, all diseases, body fat, not an issue, right? All sickness, illness, disease, pain in the body, including paralysis, all diseases, cancers, all diseases have been healed. Diabetes, simple fix. Okay, Dr. Morris has done this for 40 years. You can check Dr. Morris on YouTube. I'll include Dr. Morris in any program that I do. I'll include Dr. Ehret inside of any work that's associated with this program. You're going to find connections to Dr. Ehret, Dr. Morris, Dr. Clement, Dr. Sebi and Hilton Hotima, because these are the resources that I pulled on to understand that healing is natural and normal, that we are high energetic healing beings and health is within us. The lymphatic system, I think, needs to be understood, right? When I studied kinesiology in university, when I studied psychology, we dusted across the lymphatic system. Here's a picture here of the lymphatic system. Notice where the lymph nodes are, those little dots. The lymph nodes collect around the groin area, around the lower back, around the hips, around the neck, around the shoulders, around the head. You notice, under the arms. These are points where the body also feels pain. You get pain in the lower back. We get pain in the neck and shoulders. We get headaches, right? These are also the sites where we have pain in the body. These are sites where we put deodorant on, where we get smelly, where we get stinky. It's at the site of the lymph nodes, right? The lymph nodes is where the body immune system, this is where the body interacts with bacteria and adjusts the body pH. This is where the body deals with cellular waste. This is one of those paradigm switches, paradigm growth, stepping outside of the matrix that has to happen. This is where growth has to happen. That health and healing is not just getting vitamins and minerals from our nutrition. We eat food, it goes into our stomach, it goes through the small intestine, large intestine, it gets into the blood system, and it gets delivered through the capillaries, through the arterioles, through the capillaries, through the capillary beds. It comes to the cells. This is how the body nourishes the cells. This is how we eat food and bring the nutrition of the food to the cells. This is all that we're taught really about health. This is how the body gets nutrition and gets health. But there's a huge other aspect to health, a paradigm switch that needs to happen. Nobody talks about this. The doctors don't talk about this. They only talk about it in nutrition. You need to get this to be healthy. You need to get these things to be healthy. Well, there's more to it. There's a whole nother side. In order for you to be healthy, you don't only need to get things, you need to get rid of things. There's a whole nother side. Dr. Morse talks about two fluids. The blood system, which we all hear about, which the doctors all talk about, and talking about keeping, pH balance, and the cells need to keep the pH balance. Well, there's the lymphatic system, and it's the waste removal system. Now, the cells nourish by getting nutrition from the blood. They get the vitamins and the minerals and the proteins and the carbohydrates and nutrition and fluid from the foodstuffs that we eat. It gets that from the blood. But then what happens with the waste? Every cell needs to go poop. Just like you need to go poop, your poop comes from each cell. 100 trillion cells or 50 trillion cells go poop. And that poop needs to be taken away by the lymphatic system. The lymphatic system takes the waste from the cell. So your health is not just getting nutrition. Your health is not just getting food. Your health is removing the waste. Because if you're sitting in a pile of waste, you're not healthy. If you're sitting in a pile of acid waste, which is what happens when the lymphatic system gets cluttered, gets filled with mucus and plaque, mucoid plaque hardens in the lymphatic system, which is what Arnold Ehret taught me, creates mucoid plaque. And when the cells are sitting in lymphatic waste or acid waste, they're burning in their waste. And this is why we're getting pain in our bodies. This is why we're getting mysterious pain in our lower back. We think it's because we lifted this or we lifted that, or we say, I don't even know what I did, why I've got this pain here. I don't even know what I did, why I've got this pain here in my body. I don't know what I did, why I've got this pain in my body. We don't understand it. You know why? Because it's pain in our lymphatic system. It's because we've got a buildup of toxins inside of our body. It's that we need to detoxify our body to overcome our pain. It's that these are signs and symptoms of a deeper, larger, bigger issue, a disease to come, something worse. The body fat is just a simple symptom of something that's worse, that's coming. Okay? We need to understand the lymphatic system to truly heal. This is a paradigm shift. Detoxification is a change of thought. Okay? You know, here's a deeper look at the lymphatic system. The red ones here are the capillaries, bringing nourishing blood. So like I said, food gets digested in the stomach, food gets digested in the small and large intestines, food gets sent through the villi into the blood, it goes through the arteries, it goes to the arterioles, it comes to the capillary beds. These red ones are the capillary beds. And then when it goes to the cell, it comes back on the other side through the blue ones, through the veins. And that's all that we're taught. Blood carries nutrients and health to the cell. Veins carry deoxygenated blood away from the cell back to the lungs so they can get oxygen again and bring oxygen and nutrition back to the cell. And that's all that we're basically told. Now, these green ones are the lymphatic vessels that are also around all of the cells. All of the cells sit in capillary beds, in venous beds, and in lymphatic beds. And that all of these arteries, capillaries, and veins need to be clear of obstruction. It's the removal of obstruction that allows our health to be realized. It's by removing the obstructions in the lymphatic system, the mucus, which is a response to incorrect foods, which are the response to chemicals, which is a response to parasites, fungus, yeast, emotion, incorrect thoughts. Detoxification is the removal of these obstructions. Detoxification is allowing the energy that's actually within you, allowing the health, allowing the love that's actually within you to be able to move freely. You need to open up your channels. You need to open up your lymphatic channels so that the energy can move freely in your body, so that your body is free to transmute energy and allow it to move through you, so that you can lift up those emotions that are trapped down low in your liver, in your hips, in your digestive system, in your kidneys. You've got blocked energy. You've got blocked acid waste. You've got chemicals. You've got drugs. You've got energy. You've got emotion. You've got thoughts and words and energy that's trapped in your physical body that needs to be lifted up, that needs to be transmuted, that needs to be changed and lifted and expressed out into your life in a different way. You need to start expressing yourself in a different way. And you're going to start expressing yourself different by choosing different thoughts and words and goals and outcomes for you. By thinking and talking and speaking and doing different things, by exercising and choosing different foods, by changing your actions, your thoughts, your words, your habits, your behaviors. You're going to detoxify yourself. You're going to change your body and life. This is a change of thought, word, and action. It's a change of relationship. It's a change of emotion. Okay? It's a change of emotions. You have to understand that you are, that I am, that we are an emotional being, a being of feelings. We have feelings, right? The way we feel. That all of our feelings are on a continuum. That fear and courage are the same. They're just opposite poles of the same thing. that love and hate are opposite poles of the same thing. That we've got sadness and sorrow from traumatic events that have happened to us. As adults, we hold on to this stuff. We bury this stuff. It gets locked down in our organs. It gets trapped in our liver. It gets trapped in our hips. You got tightness in your hips. I don't know why my hamstrings are so tight. I don't know why my lower back is so tight. I don't know why I've got this pain. Well, that pain, it's got a physical aspect to it. It's got chemicals. It's got acids that are associated with it. It's got emotions that are associated. It's got thoughts that are associated with it. It's got physical, emotional, psychological, and spiritual elements to it. Your detoxification is all of them. And a detoxification is about changing your relationship, not only with yourself, but the way that you interact with your planet, with your world. It's about the relationship that you have with your partner, the relationships you have with your children. It's about the relationship you have with money, about the relationship you have with the world, your relationship with your future. Are you happy and optimistic about the future, or are you sad and afraid of your future because of something that happened in your past? This is all a part of the detoxification process. It's about building a relationship with yourself and with your life. It's about changing your relationship with yourself, with your exercise, with your food, with your thoughts and words, and with your partner and with your friends and with your clients and with your employees and with your employer. It's about your relationship with yourself, first of all. It's about healing yourself emotionally and physically. It's about getting active again. It's about lifting your energy with exercise. It's about lifting your energy with right food, thought, behavior. I've got to start speaking to myself a little bit. I've got to build a different relationship with myself. I've got to begin a meditation practice or a quiet practice that you enjoy. Spending time with yourself is a key aspect of this. You're going to have to deal with some things that you've shoved down and put away and avoided. When we were children, when something happened, we would get angry and express it, and then we'd be back to happy and joy again. Now, when we're adults, something happens. We have a divorce. We lose our job. We go through a bankruptcy. We get into an addiction. We have a breakup in our relationship, a loss of relationship. We have a loss of a relationship with our parents. Our parents get sick. Our family member dies, a sibling. We get into a fight. Things happen. Emotional responses happen. We get angry. We get sad. We get frustrated. We have resentment. We have sorrow. All of this stuff gets pushed down. We can't deal with that right now because we got to go to work. We got to pay the bills. We got to take care of the kids. We got to make dinner. As adults, there's things we got to do to keep the whole thing rolling, right? And because of that, we don't deal with these emotions. And these traumatic things get stuck inside of our bodies, physically in our bodies. Our liver doesn't work as well. Our kidney doesn't work as well. Our digestive system doesn't work as well because we've got anger and frustration and resentment and sorrow trapped in our body. Our bodies get tight. Emotional stuff gets stuck in our bodies. We got to talk to ourselves. We got to speak to the inner child. We got to build a relationship with ourselves again. We got to speak to ourselves. We got to talk to that energy inside of ourselves. We got to say to ourselves, hey, little child, by yourself. When you first wake up in the morning, hey, little child, I'm just going to be with you right now. I understand what happened. I understand you went through the divorce. I understand you went through that breakup. You lost your family or job or family member, or you lost that relationship. It doesn't mean you're not good. It doesn't mean you're not perfect. There is perfection within you. You are perfect. I am perfect. Little child, I understand what happened to you. I see what happened to you. I see how I treated you. I see what I said to you. I see how I mistreated you. I see how I've been mistreating you. I see how I've been speaking to you incorrectly for all of this time. I need to speak to that bit of me. I need to build a relationship with this bit of me again. I need to invite this bit of me to come back up. I need to say to the inner child, I need to say to that loving bit inside of me, that perfect bit inside of me, I need to say to you, I need to say to it, I need to say to me, I love you. I understand what happened. I understand why you were hurt. I see what happened now. I see how I thought and the things I said to you. I see how I've been talking to myself. I see how I've not loved you. I see how I've not given you love and light. I see how I've hidden you, how I didn't want to talk about my bankruptcy, or I didn't want to talk about my drug addictions, and I didn't want to talk about my undisciplined nature. I needed to speak to those parts of me. I needed to deal with them. I needed to bring them to the light. I needed to share them, I needed to express them. I needed to make myself vulnerable. I needed to open it up. I needed to understand that that's a part of me and it needs love. It needs to be embraced. This is stuff you do by yourself. You do it with a pen and paper. You do it with, writing, journaling. You do it with meditation. You do it with goal setting. You do it with affirmations. You do it with gratitude lists. You do it with thinking and speaking and talking about what you love. It's about coming into your loving self. It's about coming into your lovingness. It's about coming into your true self, your loving being. It's about finding the truth within you. Okay? This is all a part of the detoxification process. Your spirituality. Oh my gosh, your spirituality. It's a big one. It's a big one. It's a big part of it. And it's, for me, I can't, because things were going wrong for me in my life, things were repeatedly going wrong. I was unhappy. I was frustrated. I was in pain. I was bankrupt and bankrupt again. I was having drug addictions. I was stepping out of my relationship. I was not loving me. And because of that, I couldn't love my wife or my children or anyone properly. I had to learn how to love. And that really means that I needed to change my understanding. Okay, spirituality is a part of loving yourself. Okay, and because things were going wrong in my life, I turned to spirituality. The only spirituality I knew was Jesus and Christianity, Catholicism. My wife's a Catholic. My kids went to Catholic school. I went into the church. I was looking for my answer. Couldn't find my answer there. Born again Christian. I tried it. Couldn't find my answer there. Went into Buddhism. Studied Buddhism. Looked at the Muslim religion. Studied yin and yang. Studied religions. Over a 5-10 year period, all of this went on. And I was bouncing around until I finally started to realize that I had to embrace something bigger than just my religion, just Christianity or just Catholicism or just Buddhism. You've got to have a spirituality that takes on a larger space than that. Your spirituality must grow, right? So I'm asking you to expand yourself. For those of you that are already involved in religion, I'm asking you to grow, right? Think outside of your religion, right? Like the word of Jesus wants me to love. And that means I need to love the Hindu. I need to love the Sikh. I need to love the Muslim. I need to be loving. I need to be love, right? I need to go beyond, happiness is just going to church and singing songs. Happiness is more than that. Happiness is finding the love within me, and it requires exercise. And it requires nutritional change. It requires thought change. And it requires me to see that everybody has a right to love. And it's not only me because I found Jesus and I've come back to Jesus. So I got to save everybody else and point out to them that they're wrong. It's not right and wrong. That's a problem that's got to go. Right and wrong's got to go. It's a broken paradigm. All of that is a part of the detoxification process. And if you're one of those ones that says, spirit, oh, I don't want anything to do with it, turn it off. Well, you've got to step into it because you've got to recognize there's more to you than just your cells. You're not just the cell. There's some current in you. And when you die, you will not conduct electricity anymore. Why is that? Because something of you has left. Right now, if I hook you up to a meter, you'll conduct electricity. And when you're dead, you won't anymore. Something left. The cells are still here. So something left. So if you want to deny spirit, you've got to grow just as much as those that are stuck in the Catholic ball or the Muslim ball or the Buddhist ball or the Christian ball. Okay? You got to expand. You've got to see that everybody, there's divinity, there's spirit in all of us. All of us have access to it. Spirituality and recognizing your spirit being or your life force or your loving energy or the inner child or the giant within or whatever you want to call it if you don't want to call it spirit. You want to call it energy? You want to call it frequency and vibration? What do you want to call it? Whatever you want to call it. Call it whatever you like. But there's a bit to you that you don't really know yet. And the way to interact with that bit is in quietness, in quiet practice, in time by yourself. And that's the foundation. That's the foundation of true healing, raw natural healing, detoxification. It's all the same thing. Weight loss, healing sickness, illness, pain, or disease. It's all the same thing. We're talking about wellness. We're talking about well-being. Okay? Wellness, well-being is something that's kind of inside of you. It's kind of in the middle of you. It's in the midst of you. It's between body, mind, and spirit. Wellness, love, health, vitality, energy, freedom, happiness, joy. It's all within. What does that mean? This is all the same thing. This is learning how to love yourself. This is learning how to find happiness and health within you. When you were a child, when you cut yourself, it healed quickly. As you get older, it starts to slow down because you've polluted your body with acidity, acid habit and behavior, acid food choice. It's because of the emotional stuff. It's because of energetic stuff. It's because of alkalinity. It's because of acidity. Your health, your vitality, your wellness, your love is within you, and you can reach it. You can find it. And you will if you continue along this process. It's not going to happen overnight. As soon as you start moving to exercising and changing to high energy foods or shifting in that way or reducing the dead foods, the processed foods, starting to reduce that, as soon as you start doing that, you're going to start feeling differences. Slowly and slowly, you're going to start feeling differences as you raise your energy with exercise, as you raise your energy with food, as you raise your energy with thought and word, as you raise your energy with meditation and quiet time, quiet practice, as you come and spend more time with your spirit, as you believe in it, as you ask for it, as you seek it, you're going to shift in that direction. And you'll shift back towards wellness. You're going to shift towards what's actually within you. Your loving frequency, your loving energy will become aware. You could call it prana. You can call it chi. You can call it the giant within or the inner child. That being within you, you're going to come to know and realize it. Maybe not in the first 6 weeks, but this is the way. and you're going to learn everything that you need in the first 6 weeks. Now, as you move through, you're going to understand it in a much bigger way, because there's a difference between actually hearing this information and actually practicing it. There's a big difference between learning the book knowledge and actually in the field practice. I've been a personal trainer for 30 years. There's a big difference between when I learned as a student to get my certification as a personal trainer and to be doing this for 30 years, and how I've learned and grown and evolved along the way, and how I've learned and grown and evolved over the last 3 years moving through this process. And what I learned from the book, Dr. Arnold Ehret 3 years ago, what I learned from Dr. Sebi about electrical beings, that we are alkaline and electric. Dr. Sebi taught me that. But by moving through the process, I understood it. By moving through the practice, by working on my meditation, by moving through my yoga, by moving through my exercise or continuing my exercise while I changed my mind and understand it and stepped outside of the matrix, that I came to understand that all of this is coming back to the truth that's already within me. That this truth has been within me all along. I just had to click my heels together. This is a new paradigm. This is something different than I knew and something that I've been taught. Okay? It's been within me all along, that I could reach it all along, that I went on this wild goose chase of education and thinking that I needed a doctor and vitamins and minerals, and tried all of this stuff to get it, and actually it was within me all along. Right? Now that, true healing is something that I do myself. True healing is something that each one of us does ourselves. Now we need to get an understanding that's different than the current paradigm in order to do it. We've got to stop thinking right and wrong and looking for our answer. Well, is it this? Is it that? Is it this? Is it that? Is it this? Is it that? It's not any of that. It's within me. I need to find it within me. And I'm not going to find it overnight, but I will come to it by going through this process. It's an evolution. It's a choice, right? It's becoming aware of how I'm interacting with my life. I am a being of love. I'm a product of a love interaction. Loving myself and loving my world is what this is about. Creating a life that I love and changing the aspects of it that I don't like or love. And that I have the power to do that. That the power is me. That I have the power to heal myself and love myself and change anything in my life. That I have to take responsibility for my life in order for this to happen. It's not something I gotta get. It's not something I gotta buy. It's not a house or a car. It's not a vacation that's gonna make me happy. That joy and happiness is within me. Happiness and health and love are all the same thing, and it's within me, and it's a space within me that I can find, that I can reach to, that I can come to know, that I'll be able to step into with practice. That meditation is a foundation of me getting there. Okay? This is a change of mind more than anything else. Have I said that? Right? So my final thoughts is that this is about something that is not brand new. Like, it's new to me. It's 3 years old for me. It's 3 years old, the process. But I'm growing as I move through it. And I'm growing more in my ability and capacity to love myself, love my wife, love my clients, love the world, give back to the world, what my message is to the world, what I want to leave my mark on the world. What mark do I want to leave here? It's about getting clear about who and what I really want and creating who and really what I want in my life. It's about falling into something that's ancient. This is not brand new. Dr. Eric wrote his book in 1908, but he was teaching things that have been around since the beginning of time. Hippocrates talked about this 4,000 years ago in Greek times, right? If you look at the Dead Sea Scrolls, the Essene Gospels, you'll see Jesus Christ talked about healing through fasting and fruit. It's written in the Essene Gospels. Now, that's not a part of the New Testament or the Old Testament. It's not in there. Why not? Who knows? The Dead Sea Scrolls left out the Essene Gospels. These truths are hidden. Why? Nobody reads the Dead Sea Scrolls unless they do some research. I encourage you to grow in this, right? Grow in your Jesus Christ understanding. Grow. Jesus wants you to grow in love. Jesus wants you to step outside of the paradigm. This is not anti-God. This is not bad. This is you coming into your true loving self and true loving being. This is increasing your capacity to love. The Buddha. Look at the Buddha. Look at the message of the Buddha. Look at Jesus Christ and the Buddha. They both fasted for months, days, years. Look at the story of the Buddha. Look at what the Buddha teaches in terms of thought management, in terms of nutrition management, in terms of eating all of your meals in one meal, or eating light, or eating in the middle of your day and then staying empty. Emptiness. Look at what the Buddha and Jesus taught with 40 days and 40 nights of fasting. Look at how Jesus survived in the desert. How do you think that happened? When you really start to look at how that would really possibly happen, you'll fall into the truth, and all of this will begin to make sense. You'll start to realize that this entire thing is about becoming a fully functional human being. Loving yourself. That's what it's all about. That's what detoxification is all about. This is the science of loving yourself. This is a change of paradigm. This requires meditation. Have I said that? It requires conscious intention. You've got to choose to explore this. You've got to seek it. If you don't seek it, you can't find it. You can't find this truth. You can't find this joy. You can't find this energy that you're going to be able to find unless you choose it. You consciously make the choice and the effort to seek it, to look for it, to find it. And, one final thing that I'd like to say is, as you step into the raw, natural healing, as you start to lose weight and tone up, and you decide you want to grow more and you want to love your entire self, love your entire life, is that as you step into this, it's going to separate you from others. It's going to separate you from the world. That as you learn to love yourself, as you start to love yourself, that the ones that love you the most, or the ones that you love the most, may become the biggest obstacles for you. That your friends and family may become the biggest obstacles. Common, normal, okay? Normal, expected. That as you move towards loving yourself, that you're going to find that you're kind of becoming backwards to the world, and everyone in the world is going to be resisting what you're saying and doing. Everyone is going to tell you that you're doing the wrong thing. Normal. Disregard that. Don't worry about that. It doesn't mean you need to get a divorce. It doesn't mean that you need to stop having friends, or stop loving your children, or you start hating your children, or it means none of that. It means that your relationship's going to upgrade, and you're going to truly start loving your wife, your husband, your kids, your family, your friends, your life. It's going to take a little bit of a switch that's going to have to happen, and that's normal. And if you're sharing this and you're not getting a positive response, normal. Okay? If you need help, reach out to me. I'm here to help you. The other people in the competition, they're your new family right now. Okay? When you start stepping and embarking on a path to increase your spirituality, increase your love, change your mind, change your emotions, express old, low frequency and low vibration stuff, heal your body, start loving and taking care of yourself, everybody else is going to have to take a little bit of a step down, because as you start to give love to you, you're taking a little bit from them. And all they know is they see a change and they don't like it. And they try to grab on and pull you down and throw you off. Oh, I don't like what you're doing there, so I'm going to try to be an obstacle. It's natural and normal. It's just a common aspect of it. You're going to have to learn how to kind of work within that. Not easy at the beginning. And if you want to talk about it more, I'm happy to do that with you. Listen, the Melaman signing off for today, wishing you a happy, healthy day, and letting you know that all things in your life can heal and change. But you're going to have to change your mind in order to get it and do it. Have yourself a super terrific day.